Hi, you beautiful motherfuckers. We are back for part two. I've got Matt McQuinn here with me, Coldlytics, and I want to show you guys a little bit of what the data looks like. So if you guys missed part one, we were using Coldlytics and we were pulling data for different niches. We use the example of dentists because I know a lot of you guys work with dentists, but it's just an example of kind of the possibilities. And we had a good friend of ours, Josh Nelson, who's another really awesome agency coach who's built his own seven-figure agency, helped a lot of people, and has a really good book. And Josh came in, stumbled into Coldlytics, just trying to get his own data for his own HVAC niche, and had tried some of the other tools out there. Some of those you guys may recognize. I'll let Matt take it from here because he's way cooler than here. But just wanted to show you like the difference and how much like this will save you time in terms of like grabbing those contacts and just being able to like, especially like if you want to scale a business, like it's really not that complicated. It's people make it more complicated. You have to like proactively get in front of business owners of your niche, and you have to offer them something. And like that's the gist of it. Like there's no secret sauce, whether you do that direct mail, email, ads, SEO, in person, like at some but having really good data like enables you to do that a whole bunch faster, a lot less wasted time. So let's check it out, man. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So the reason that we're going for plumbers on this list again, as you said, is this was the niche that Josh was trying to test HVAC and plumbers. And it's very specific. So we're looking in a little town called Allentown, Pennsylvania, where we're looking for owners of plumbing shops. And what's unique about this, and then the reason this particular town was chosen, is that Josh had clients here, so he was able to already kind of get a grasp of, hey, is the data that people are providing me accurate or not? I know this market pretty good in the first place. I'm just trying out different tools.
yeah.
And this is something we used to get asked about all the time is, how do you compare to Lusha? How do you compare to Apollo? Blah, 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 blah. And those are good questions. So let's take a look and see if you're looking for niche data, how do these different companies stack up? And we actually have recorded live unedited videos of us running these tests on these platforms. So, we're not just skewing the data and what happened. That said, every tool on here is good at something, and there's a reason that they exist, and they're probably bigger than Coldlytics today. That said, there's a lot of holes in those companies and those platforms, and that's where we're filling those gaps for you guys as agency owners specifically. We're the only tool that really exists for agency owners specifically, and that's what we're serving is you guys. So let's jump in. When we did this search, we came back with let's see, 21 deliverable emails, right? We talked about the email validity last time on that last video. You can go check it out. There's 21 here. No duplicates, nothing like that. No weird formatting. Let's jump over. We tried to do this in Apollo. Apollo turned back nothing. It was kind of frustrating, but it was what it was. Lusha, same deal. Lusha didn't pull back anything either. Both of these guys have some cool extensions that if you wanted to go look at every single plumber's website in Allentown, you might actually get a list by the time you were done, but you'd also lose a full business day. So, do with that what you will. D7 lead finder. D7 came back with 68 leads. And this part, I was actually nervous when I first looked at this. I was like, oh man, these guys are smoking us. They got 68 leads in here. So I said, let's go through and clean it up. Let's figure out, if there's any duplicates, if any of these guys aren't plumbers, or if they're info at emails, right? By the time we did that, these are what we actually got out of it. We got 9 email addresses. I say on average, it's going to take 2 minutes to really verify if these are valid leads or not. If you're paying an account executive the average wage in the US, these leads actually cost you on a per lead basis $6 a piece. So while it's a cheaper tool up front, if your time is worth any money at all, you're paying through the nose to have bad data.
Yeah, can I ask you just a little bit on that, Matt? Because I hear D7 thrown around a lot. Like, what kind of information were they getting where they're not plumbers? Is it like other niches or different cities, or like what was kind of the issue with some of this data?
Yeah. Like we can start right here. Here's the first one. It's info at. So while this is probably a valid email address, it's an info at, so it doesn't even matter. We've got, let's see, did Doug make it to the list? This is something to do with soil. This is not even right. Like these two companies aren't correlated with the company name. So there's something off in the data there. We've got AP, that one passed. Sales, inquiries, help, service.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go through and clean all this stuff up. Hello. A lot of this is going to bounce. You're going to get autoresponders, right?
Yeah, not just that. You guys are going to hit gatekeepers that are going to ignore the fuck out of you, which I hear so many of you guys message me every week saying I'm sending messages and I'm just getting ghosted. And often in certain niches, you're just hitting gatekeepers that are, you know,
Yeah.
delete, ignore, those kind of things are happening real fast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, we could go through it and compare. Like here, there's two separate companies, two very different names. They provided the same email address. We did validate it for one of them, but we said obviously, we can't claim this is the right email for these two companies when their websites are a third name from these first two in the first place. Like something just does not stack up
Right.
about this data. So this is kind of what you get. Good value, and if your time's not worth anything, go for it, clean it up. But most of us it is. Let's go to Data Axle. Data
Yeah, and
Axle, I
can I
like.
just say, part of the whole point of getting a tool like this is so you don't have to go through and do the data. It's supposed to, you know.
It's done for you. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I have used Data Axle personally in the past. I've ran campaigns to it. I noticed in general, guys, they converted less than other data sources that were mined fresh, like we do here at Coldlytics. But it is a cool resource. It has some pretty significant flaws that are really limiting. Like you can't filter anything other than NAICS codes or SIC codes. So unless your company fits into a perfect bucket, along with all the other weird companies that fit in that bucket, it's kind of a big muddy mess. So we went
Yeah.
through the results that came back from here. Again, this was Josh's poll. Only two of them actually matched up. We'll jump
Can I
over
just add,
to,
Matt, that
yeah.
um, I've dealt with a lot of local businesses and they know their competition like only 100% of the time, like know them by name, know their face. Often, usually, you have like a major psychotic hatred of those competitors. So, if you have a client and you know them in the area, it's very, very easy to like validate this data like pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's very true. It's a good point. Seamless disappointed me. There was nothing that came back from Seamless here. Again, Seamless, really powerful tool, but it's very limited. Really, the way Seamless works, and we get a lot of questions on this. This might just be valuable for group members, for you guys. Seamless is good at scraping the web. That's what they do. They just go out and they scrape everything they can possibly get. But the problem with that is that they're not looking for anything in particular. They're just looking for everything. And so there's specific holes that get created. Let's take Zoom Info, for example. Zoom Info is significantly more expensive, but what they're doing is they actually have real people that are kind of engineering the scraping and data collection processes at a deeper level. And that's why you pay so much more for Zoom Info. So they're trying to plug more of the gaps, but also it's just a big scrape database as well at the end of the day. So Seamless disappointed here. Lead Carrot, there were no personal emails. They did have some matches, but they were sales info at gatekeeper emails. So nothing actionable came out of Lead Carrot's findings. Clean leads, we are underway with this one. Haven't cleaned this up yet, but there's a bunch of stuff here and it looks very similar to what we found before. So I can provide the link to the spreadsheet if anybody's interested. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is our data comparison. You saw that, at most, I think we got, what do we get? We got 10 minus 1. So we got 9 from D7 versus Coldlytics had 21. And this was produced in 24 hours for you.
Yeah, like you said, it's designed for the agency owner to then go reach out to these people and discuss prospects of doing business together. In Josh's case, is like a social media management / SEO for HVAC and plumbers. Yeah, I'll tell you, having done this, like just getting the data will, if you don't have a tool like Coldlytics, will make you want to quit being an agency owner. And then when you send emails and get ghosted, especially if you're just sending them to gatekeeper kind of places where, the owner's not checking info at abcdentist.com, and therefore, even if you write the best message in the world, he's not going to see it. You're not getting in front of the decision maker. You're kind of, shit out of luck just from that point. Usually most gatekeepers get, and then like busy competitive niches, I always say they get like 100 to 1,000 pitches a week, not just from us as marketers, but like I said, like my personal injury lawyers tell me, like the investment guys call them 10 times a day, like, hey, I got the latest greatest stock tip, you need to jump all over this shit right now. They get the insurance people, like it's everybody's hitting these people up, right? So it's I actually, like a few of my clients, I have their Instagram and I can see every time they get solicited in Instagram, and they get like bad fucking marketing messages. Like every 5 minutes, there's something in there. And so, you know, when you're going to those catch-all emails and you're sending it poorly, like you basically got no shot of standing out in that potential space. So starting with good data where you can reach decision makers is really, really like a giant shortcut to the game. Because as I mentioned, 100 years of direct mail testing and 60% of the success is this. Who are you reaching out to in the first place?
Yeah, and something to add to that as well. If you really look at the numbers there quickly and see the 21 versus the 9, most people most agencies are using things like D7. They're using really cost-effective tools. But what does that mean if you're in this niche? And so are they. It means everybody went and emailed those 9 people, and nobody emailed these ones, right? This is a fresh list mined for you. So it's not just a database that's being, queried and sold 8,000 times a month. This is unique data that you're the first person who's got this list 9 times out of 10. 99% of the time, it's the first time that list has ever been pulled through Coldlytics. So that's something that I think is really valuable. And I won't be able to make this statement probably in 5 years from now. It'll probably be a little bit redundant in 5 years. But right now, this is such a blue ocean for agency owners that you guys are able to email people that other people aren't getting to unless they're doing some crazy manual research efforts like we do in-house. Which most people aren't. Like Frankie said, you just give up, you beat your head off the wall and say, this is waste of my time. Why am I trying to do this? I'll get a job. It's way less work and pretty good money.
Totally. Just a little recap, by the way, for you guys in this little part 2. If you guys are interested in giving Coldlytics a try, do you want to just, Matt, actually just once more switch over to the homepage so they can see kind of what packages they have. Also, I'll post a link for this below for those of you guys who are interested. If you get it through me, I'll also include a training we did on cold outreach bootcamp, so you know what to do with all these people contact info. So you know, like the way to do outreach. Like we have people in our mastermind. I'd say it's pretty typical. If we send 10 messages, like 4 to 8 of those are at least getting a conversation going, and that doesn't mean you're going to close everybody who just responds to you. But at the same time, like I hear people tell me they send 7,000 messages to get 3 responses. We're sending 10 and minimum getting 4. That's the numbers I want you guys to do. And like I've mentioned in the last video, if you got $1,000 to a $10,000 a month service, as most of you guys do, Facebook ads, SEO, website, you basically just need 1 client from this to pay for Coldlytics for the entire year. So like even at $5.99 a month, if you're getting a client, say you sell a $1,500 an hour or Facebook ad service, and the client today is 4 months, that's $6,000. That's the cost of a pro plan for an entire year, basically. So
yeah, no, I think it's a really good comparison. Yeah, at the end of the day, really, you get in what you get out, what you put in, and data is where it all begins. So if you guys have any questions that you're wondering are specific about your niche or anything like that, you can always ping us in the live chat. We're pretty fast. It's my co-founder and I that man the chat here for you.
All right. Well, you guys know what to do. Leave us a message or drop a question or grab that link below, give it a try and see if it's for you. You guys can cancel at any time, as Matt has mentioned before. It's not like you have to commit to a whole year or anything like that. So you can give it a try, see if it's for you. $100. I'll tell you, I've spent that on virtual assistants or just been wanting to rip my own fucking hair out, trying to find the right people to contact. Being able to do that, click a button, a couple of buttons, have somebody do that in 24 hours, that to me is like a no-brainer. So get that if you guys are interested.
Thanks, Frankie.